It's Pro Football Weekly's primetime preview, the Lions and Saints on Sunday night. And Ndamukong Suh, we know, not playing in this game for the suspension. The stomp heard round the NFL. Given that he's not going to play, how much of an impact will that have?
Well, they can make up for him inside. They've got Corey Williams, a very underrated defensive tackle. Nick Fairley is playing better. Sammy Hill, the third guy. So personnel-wise, I think they should be okay. But you're going into this game without two starting defensive backs, no Kevin Smith probably. So the Lions are really shorthanded across the board, it seems.
And keep in mind, even if Ndamukong Suh was playing in this game, the Saints have an outstanding interior offensive line.
Yeah.
Brian De La Puente has actually surprised people at center since taking over for Olin Kreutz. And then you have Jari Evans and Carl Nix on either side of him, two of the best guards in the league. So I think the Saints are going to be able to generate some movement against the Lions' front seven.
You also have to wonder how much of an effect that Suh's aggressiveness and just that he plays that style that Jim Schwartz, whether it's dirty or aggressive, however you want to look at it, how much of an impact that's going to have. Now, they also play a similar defense in Detroit to how the Giants played and tried to play last week. Just rush with their front four, try and get pressure that way. It obviously didn't work because the Saints torched the Giants. Is there anything that Detroit can do to try and slow down Brees?
Yeah, they don't want to get back to the days a couple years ago where Gunther Cunningham was sending a blitzer about every other play. But, I think they may kind of confuse him with some zone defenses or something like that. I mean, you don't want to sit in zone all day against Drew Brees, but, maybe throw him off from the usual approach and go into some man coverage.
And it's so hard to defend this Saints offense right now. Drew Brees, even if you do get a good pass rush, gets through the ball so quickly. Gets that ball out of his hand and into the hands of his very capable playmakers. You can focus on Darren Sproles and Jimmy Graham, the two of the guys that are on fire for that offense right now. But then they'll go to Marcus Colston. They'll go to Devery Henderson. They'll go to Robert Meacham. So many different things that you have to be conscious of if you're the Lions defense. Are going to be a struggle for them.
And they have a run game, too. That's the other thing that kind of developed slowly. Those four guys are really contributing, all of them now.
Ingram got it going last week. Yeah. It almost seems like if you're going to beat the Saints, it needs to be in a shootout, similar to what you have to do with the Packers. The Lions do have some offensive firepower, but enough to win this game?
I think some big plays from Calvin Johnson certainly are going to be there. Maybe the tight ends can beat up the middle of that Saints defense. Secondary has been a question, but there is improving health on Matthew Stafford. Everything seems to point towards the Saints in this one. They've got the games at home coming down the stretch here. I think it's a big victory for them, and I think they remain in the hunt for that number 2 seed.
I think the Lions can score points against the Saints defense. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, but I just don't think the Lions defense is really ready to slow down the Saints enough to get a win here.
We thought that the Lions would be able to score against the Packers last week, too, with their defense looking susceptible, but didn't really happen. Not sure this Lions team is going to be able to do it against the Saints either. That's a preview of the Sunday night game for the best coverage of the NFL. Check us out at ProFootballWeekly.com.